By the time I realized that someone was on the other side, it was fully open. Seeing the person almost made me say her name in surprise. OMG, it's Chimiyu Sarazawa. I couldn't save her. No, I couldn't fulfill my promise. But we'd meet again thanks to the strange looping phenomenon. Whether it was something to feel thankful about was another matter. Nice to meet you. I kept my surge of emotions under control and gave a smile, but just as she made that sound, a lone tear ran down her
あら
cheek.
目にゴミ入った？
Her voice was calm, but the first tear made many more, and they were soon streaming from both eyes.
なんだこれ。えっと、かおりさん、ごめんなさい。ちょっと手拭いかなんかもらえます？
Her reaction didn't seem to be anything more than confusion at her body going out of control.
まあ、どうしたの？はい、手ぬぐい。
いや、わかんなくて。なんか催涙ガスとか煮込んだりしてないですよね。
記者の方にお出しする獅子慣れが傷んでたのかしら。
いやいや、行ってみただけです。なんかこう、なんだろうな、更年期かな。
まあ、ちえみちゃんはまだ大丈夫よ。
すみません、変なとこお見せしちゃって。
She wiped her tears. Her eyes didn't look good, but her voice was cheerful and carefree, just like in my memory.
今日急に休みずに済むことになった方ですよね、お兄さん。
Why had she cried? Yes, am I that
い
scary?
やいやいやいや、普通にシュッとされてますし、全然。これはなんだ、なんだろう、謎現象です。あ、私芹沢千恵美って言います。学生で里帰り中です。第一印象最悪かもですが、よろしくお願いします。
She bowed to me. She really didn't know who I was. Due to the looping phenomenon, dying had set me back to the point when I was wandering around on my bike. I was something that actually happened, and I had to accept it, but it was just also completely unreasonable. I didn't have any good way to reasonably explain it. Was the looping centered around me? Was I the only one who had memories of last time? It wouldn't be strange for that there to be someone else. My memories were fragmented right now, and I often remembered things only when it counted. It could be the others had forgotten almost everything, but still had certain fragments of their memories and feelings. I had to stop thinking about this. I couldn't have asked her to console me about the tragic end that didn't even happen yet. I'd been barking up the wrong tree. If everything worked out, I hope I could get close to her again. Love that depended on death, despair, and the suspension bridge effect was better off staying in the realm of fiction where it belonged. We exchanged a few words. I didn't have much time left. I had to focus on getting a place to stay. Anyway, just like I said, I first went to Utsumatsu-san's house. Obviously, it didn't seem like there were many people inside. I hesitated for a moment, but ended up knocking. That was Meiko's voice. Could she even understand me? I'm Fusashi from before. Why am I singing? Fushiashi from before, son? No, I am Haruki Fushisashi. Is the old lady there? Oh, so I was off the mark. Alright, see you then.
あ、なにお兄ちゃん。ふさあきさんふさゆきさん。
Wrong.
ちょっとお待ちください。
Oh, Usamatsu-san. She told me to wait, so I did. Soon enough, the door opened.
お待たせしました。
I'm looking for Yamakaki-san. From how she acted, I thought she came to visit
ま
you.
だお見えになりません。
Looks like it. I'll be going then.
いや、山脇様に何のご用だったか。
Well, I'm gonna live here now, and I still don't have a place.
住まわれる。
Yes, I need to talk about that. What did she mean by this?
でも宿なしはいけません。
Yeah,
夕霧立てば宴の支度と申しまして、
that made me flinch. Did it show on my face?
藤吉の者は霧を不吉なものと習います。霧が立つ日は身を清めて閉じこもって早寝
Cleanse,
して過ごすのが
shudder,
常でございます。
That's an interesting tradition. That was what I would have thought if I didn't know about the tragedy.
差し出がましいかもしれませんが、空き家
Huh? She told Mako to entertain herself and took a key from her house. Instead of telling me more about it, she insisted on going outside despite my polite protests. I had no choice but to follow after her. We passed the plaza, went down the hill. She tripped 2 times.
痛い。
Looks like
転ぶのも頭を打つのも常ですので。
you really shouldn't walk around glass like that in that attire.
これも植松の仕事ですから。
It is.
雲は根屋のはしため。
That was a new term. Bedroom woman servants. Women who serve you in the bedroom. That sure sounded sexy. The spider was one of the guardians, the great Lord Shinai. That reminded me. Shimi had told me that the Umatsu-san were the family of the spider.
黄泉の木は皿長より湧き、まずは人の正気を蝕むと言います。そこからかつて植松家は野蛮として村の夢見を守る役目を担ったのです。
But you fell all at the same time at night, so you walked around during the day instead, huh? Is she alright? By the way, all the heads of the village have roles like that?
よく
I came here through Kami Fujiyoshi, and Haguchi-san, well, he looked pretty powerful.
樋口家は猿水場の日盛り。
There was that term again, watering hole. They used fire when I wasn't allowed, huh?
ええ、水場と偽って火を焚くことを人に教えたのが猿であったと伝わっております。
What about Nosato-san's family? They're one of the head families too, aren't they?
野里家はカラスの
I have no idea what that means.
屍を読み人かどうか見分する役。
That didn't seem very important.
実際はクス氏、武士は渦とも呼ばれ、彼らのみが。
のさとは薬作ってた家だかんね。
No, Sato is the family that made medicine. Wolfbane, the plant that's organite in the food. Oh yeah, that was true. Well, an autopsy was a medical procedure, and if they could use poisonous plants on top of that, they could easily garner a lot of respect. You see, what was that last
荷
one?
車、
Right, I hadn't met a person linked to that one.
蛇は蔵の見張り、植松は見張りの家ではありません。
That doesn't give me enough.
いえ、蔵というのは、
So they're in charge of the military here.
いえ、かつて櫓を組んで星を見たと。暦、その職能は畏敬を受け、やがて神内様の。
I see. We had our TV weather ladies now, but back in the day, astronomy and meteorology were kind of linked to the divine, leading them many to consider them special powers that let them predict the future and bring good things in general. Farming was the building block of civilization. Having it was a matter of life and death, so it was only natural for those who offered guidance in that field to become leaders. Thank you for telling me this. This place has a rich history, huh? I think I could grow attached to it.
そうですか。初めて言われました。
Really? It's pretty interesting, though.
藤吉の生まれでない人にお話ししたことがありませんので。
Oh, right. She refused to go into detail last time. Infiltrating the village really was a good idea, huh?
そうこうしているうちに着きました。
Yeah, we really did go all the way, huh? Sure takes a lot out of you.
別に変なことはしてません。
Her speech was still odd, and what the hell was up with her imagination? She could send my verbal curveballs to another dimension. In a way, there was a wooden house. It was much like the ones near the plaza, except a bit more aged. It looked relatively stable, though.
実のところ、藤吉の多くは樋口、野里、植松の私有地なのです。藤吉村の所有になっているのは、代々村長を務める身車家に属するものと。
So you're saying this place belongs to you? What? Oh, sorry for being so straightforward with you.
いいのですが、土地はその通りでして、ここの方は少し前までお元気に。
So has he passed away or something?
はい、大往生でした。
That sounded like a real blessing here in
気にされます
Yasumizu.
か？一応中はきれいにしてあるのですが。
I've been lying if I said I wasn't bothered, but I chose to take a look. She didn't seem to be kidding. The inside was shabby and the wood was aged, but the floors was clean and I couldn't see much dust. The tatami was new and too, though that meant it had to be changed. But at least there wasn't some human-shaped mark on the floor. There was no furniture, but I could easily get a futon or something. What about the
ガ
bath?
スは外してると思います。
That's bad. What can I do if the mist comes?
みそぎですか？そこの水桶に 井戸水を汲んで。
That's enough.
はい。かつては弱みの習慣は藤吉にはなかった。
Oh yeah, because only the watering hole could use fire.
その通りです。
That made sense. Anyways, I was now ready. Are you sure I can use this house?
はい。日頃掃除をしてきた甲斐がありました。
Huh? You clean this place yourself?
汚れを引き取るのも植松家の役目なのです。それに手を動かしていた方が。
Did something bad happen? Sorry, that was insensitive of me.
いえ、何かあったわけじゃなく、何か起きるのが怖くて。
She looked at the mountain beyond the valley. No, it was the valley itself, and Saranaga Rapids at the bottom. Back to the heads. Do the Miguru Rama still predict the weather and stuff? Part of me thought I might be prying too much
春と
deeply.
秋のお祭りで五穀豊穣を願い舞を奉納し、それは昔の行いを真似ていると聞きます。
Oh, so in a way, they have a perfect track
山
record.
脇様はお詳しいですので、そちらに聞かれてはきっと喜ばれます。
That seemed true. Oh, sorry for taking up so much of your time. Thank you so much. I'll make it up to you.
そんな、私こそあのような恥ずかしいところを助けていただき、どうしたらよいか。
Wasn't she basically blaming me here? Lots of things happen already, but I hope to we get along well. If you think I can help, don't be afraid to ask.
夫妻様。
Oh, and someone doesn't suit me. You can be more casual. You don't have to use such polite speech. Crap.
夫妻子、無理無理。夫妻子様、私の、むしろ私などいかようにでもお呼びを。
Was I actually raising some flags here? Was the game this easy these days? Did she actually fall in love over a bit of help after a head injury? Was this some kind of soap opera or something? Well, not that I was complaining. Well then, Rikako-san. No, this was something else. She was just especially vulnerable to men. As a family head, she was probably either revered from a distance or considered an enemy. Takumi did the latter. She probably never talked to someone who didn't care about these things. That actually made me feel kind of bad for her. Okay, then let's call each other Umatsu-san and Fusashi-san. Let's become good friends.
お友達。
Yes.
こちらこそぜひ。
In the part of the village with no one but us, we exchanged a deep bow. Umatsu-san then returned, and I checked the house for any holes. Seemed fine on the front, no monster could get inside. Anyways, I had my place. Now I had to get one for Mamiya-san and Hashimoto-san. I tried to think of a way to encourage them to leave before the mist came, but all things I could think of seemed unnatural. Meant my only option was the opposite, convincing them that there was no way to leave, so they had to stay. Honestly, I did consider just letting them die. As long as I survived, I didn't really care if they did. But that didn't sit right with me. I wasn't a good guy, but not doing anything whatsoever I could right now seemed careless. My ultimate goal was to escape the loops, but at the moment, all I could really do was prevent the tragedy before me. I'd think of something else if it didn't work out, but for now, I had no reason to abandon my humanity. That was why I returned to the plaza. It was still really empty, and the two journalists were probably working. This was my chance. I approached the left back wheel on Hashimoto-san's van, and reaching into my bag, I pulled out the hammer and nails. I placed the tip of the nail against the tire and hammered it in. You could hear the sound of the air leaving. That had me to be good. I then did the same with the other tire, as well as the front ones. There. After that, I added a random array of extra nails around those to make it look like a trap or something that had been ran over in the grass. They couldn't leave now. I already knew they didn't have anything that could fix the tires. They couldn't get in touch with any road service until after the mist passed. Someone from Kami Fujiyoshi came to pick them up. They left without their car. That would have been fine too. Not that I expected anyone to come. Now I just had to convince them that they had to stay here. It was a really haphazard plan. It seemed like the locals trapped them on purpose. I'd had to think of something to say about that. Anyways, I did what I could to find them. Now that I had to wait. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I almost burst out of my chest. What's the matter, Rikaku-san? I'm sorry, what's wrong, Usumatsu-san?
お腹が空きましたので、ご飯を。
That, huh? Well, I was pretty hungry myself. Wait, there was something more important to worry about. Had she seen me? It is. What the hell was up with the pressure? Was it some Kami Fujiyoshi head superpower? Was she waiting for me to confess something? I had no choice but to think of a new lie. But looking at her red eyes, it made me feel like she'd see through any bullshit I spun. Crap, maybe I should just come clean and...
お腹が空きました。
Was she actually not thinking anything? What do you think I was doing here?
ダンゴムシでもお探しかと。
Did she think I was as old as Mako? No, look here, it's a flat. See, it got this inside.
太くて大きい。
And look how deep it is.
ああ、そんな。
茶髪の男が上松様を晴天のもと手ごめにしておる。
Man, what the hell was with her appearance this time around? Okay, yeah, I couldn't lie. This conversation was pretty messed up. That's outrageous misunderstanding. I'll go call for the journalists.
まさか冗談でしょ。
Hasako-san was completely perplexed. I still couldn't read his expression, but I could totally sympathize with someone being basically stranded in a place like this. How unfortunate. They weren't suspicious of me, so I just acted like an innocent, sympathetic bystander.
今日は元鉄で帰る予定でしたけど、どうしますこれ。
君のブッキングは
私は大丈夫ですけど。
娘の誕生日なんだ。
ああ、ナミちゃん。
Ow, the heartache. I had no idea he had a daughter, or was married, for that matter. The fact that it came as a surprise just made my pain worse. But I couldn't feel guilty about this. If I ignored them, they would have been torn apart by a monster.
でも本当どうしましょう。休みずにはそもそも車が。
野里様は何か役立つものをお持ちではないでしょうか。
Those words made me twitch.
特殊なタイヤだから難しいかな。一つならスペアがあったけど。
ロードサービスに連絡しましょう。オリベさん、電話か。
ええ、もちろんです。こちらへ。
They all returned to the dining hall.
なんだか気味が悪いわね。
I was left alone with a particular duo, but then we were joined by a muscle-ill silhouette who'd come from the fields. What are you doing, Baobas-chan and Usamasu, and who are
こ
you?
ちら、不妻子春明様です。
She went out of her way to introduce me, though she still couldn't leave off the sama. I'm moving here. I hope we get along. Oh, you're the guy, huh? I'm Takumi Moro. A pleasure. You don't look like you're from Kamumi Fujiyoshi. An outsider then? That's pretty rare. Sorry you ended up here. They really had to do something about their habit of showing sympathy for anyone who came here. Yes, I came here from the city. I'm sorry, I'm so suspicious and flashy. I'll re-dye my hair. Alright.
それがええわよ。
Well, she hates that sort of thing. I really don't care though. I care more about something else. As in, if you're useful in the field, unlike Kami Fujiyoshi, Yasumizu doesn't abandon its people. But we don't have room for those who can't earn their keep. While mentioning Kami Fujiyoshi, he glanced at Usumatsu-san. Well, you look like you had the build for it. You can start by mowing the grass around the upper fields. But I was told to work at the dining hall. What? You're working with Kori-san? Crap, I messed up.
匠や、あんたは男前なんだから、いい加減伝えたいことはちゃんと伝えんといかんわよ。
What do you mean? I'm not thinking anything that outrageous. But she supports 2 grown sons and feeds everyone with her frail arms. I'm gonna kill any guy that tries to take advantage of her. That was plenty outrageous. Hey, what did you do to get her to take you spill it? It took a lot of efforts to keep myself from lying and feeling the fire. Oh, Haiguchi-san from Kami Fujiyoshi, right? Sent me to work with her. Takumishi became apathetic. Oh, I guess that's fine then. I'll try to become able to work outside too. That's great and all. But for now, just watch. If we made you do too much, they might get on our case about it. Huh? They care about what kind of people, people work do here? They don't. They just want to be sure we listen to them. So, what are y'all up to? Where's Cory-san?
なんだか記者さんの車が壊れたとかで、慌てて電話しに行ったわよ。
Huh? That's pretty bad. Can they leave? It's best to assume they don't have it fixed today.
嫌だね。
This is getting nowhere. Do you have any open rooms?
私の自由になるのは。
植松様、健さんの家をこの人に貸されたんですかいね。
はい。人が住まないと 家は死にますし。
あんた大事にすまんといかんわよ。あっこは方が最近まで住んでらしたんだから。
Of course.
くれぐれも植松様を手ごめにする場にしちゃいかんからね。植松様はそれは恐れ多い方なんだからね。
You two are like that? It's a complete misunderstanding, but it seems to keep being taken as fact. I'd appreciate if it wasn't. We went off a tangent. What do we do? I'd have liked it if I was the newbie. Didn't have to be the one making this conversation progress. I really don't think it's good if outsiders stay in Yasumizu either side like it. Neither sides like it. Ba-chan, you got any free
メイコちゃん
houses?
に出したのが最後よね。他はみんな穴開いたり壁抜けたりで物意味もできやせんわよ。
Liar, there was the room in the
あ
dorm.
のー
Oh, you sure slept for long. Go help out the old
あ
man.
ーごめんごめん、ちょっと向こうで寝坊の習慣ついちゃってさ。ところでタイばあちゃん、部屋だったら寮の部屋が一つ空いてますけど。
ちいちゃんね、知っとるでしょう。あそこは昔義満さんが四家の皆々様にかけようってできた場所よ。先のある子らだけでも上富士吉に近いきれいな家に住ませたい言うて、それで坂をコンクリートで階段にして。
ああ
Well, Fujisashi, you see what kind of place Yasumizu is? I already knew. In a way, I hope they can fix the car. This was pretty bad. Just as I expected, the resurface would take a long time to get here. They'd be somewhere in the middle of the night if they tried to come right away. The mountain road was even more dangerous at night, so they agreed on the service coming in the early morning, which led us back to the talk where we'd stay. Though by that discussion, Yamaki-san, who was done talking, had left. She really gave us, the outsiders, the cold shoulder, huh? Takumi-san tried suggesting that they stay in their van, and I was surprised to hear that they were receptive to the idea. Them being a man and woman was one thing, but it was more concerned if they had that van had enough space for someone that huge and enough person to lie down. Still, it looked like they were about to agree to just leave it at that, but that was no good. They wouldn't survive the night like that. So far, the only people I had met were the students who were in the school. Kanzo Makishima-san was out hunting since morning, and the old man who cried wolf. Since I'd met just about everyone, I chose to take my leave. It wouldn't have been natural if I had tried to talk to them out of that. I had to get places for them, but my only option was the one I didn't have much faith in. In a way, doorbell. Oh, you're the new one. What do you want? There is a problem that I think only a village head can solve. Well, I don't mind the sentiment. You can knock off the awkward flattery. Why not act more like yourself? Was my politeness that insincere? Sorry. Now, about what I came here for. Is it true that the mists are coming soon? The effects of my word on Kiyonosaki-san was impressive. He tried to act calm, but his wondering eyes made it clear he wasn't. What? Who told you about that? Who mentioned that superstition to you right when you just got here? Utsumatsu-san. He fell silent. Then the guy read was easy to read. Someone else told me about the myths themselves, though. The one who sent me here was Soji Higuchi-san. Oh, Soji. He's 1 year younger than me. What did he say? I might have misheard it, but he said that there might be myths soon. There was no truth to my words, but they would become true when the myths came. But Utsumatsu-san said there's something that must be done if the myths come. There are people who are stuck here because their van flat tires, and I was wondering what they could do. Oh, that's news to me. How troublesome. It is. What do you think? Early summer mist here in Yasumizu happens only every decade or two. Decade or two? Well, it wouldn't be impossible for them to appear now, but I don't think I saw signs of it happening anytime soon. See, by the way, what's so dangerous about it? Everyone seems so tense. When the mist comes to Yasumizu, someone always dies. Is that an okay thing to say? Oh, don't misunderstand. The mists you get here are far more dense. You know, I hear you can make it as good as blind. I knew that, but yeah, I couldn't have imagined mists that dense unless I saw it myself. That's why the people here are taught to stay indoors whenever that happens, but you have those who still go outside and fall to their deaths or something. I see. Did you see the destroyed construction site not far from here? There was a project ran by a family, but it ended up in the mist led on site to death. Seriously, they could have pulled out sooner, but the overseer was too strict. I felt stupid for ever considering crazy theories about some Saranaga illness. That mist was dangerous in and of itself. That made for good official reasoning to stay indoors when it came. He seemed to believe the official reason and thought it couldn't kill him. If he actually knew about the true dangers lurking in the mist, he'd do everything he could to leave Yasumizu. He was from a head family and didn't seem to know all the secrets. She, on the other hand, must have known something. I'd love to find out more, but... Hold on, he just told me something weird. The mist led on the two on-site thefts. Did you see the aftermath of the landslide uphill? It'd been like that ever since the Nosato got to work on the place 8 years ago and it collapsed. They were too freaked out to even clean it up. I ended up digging out the workers' corpses and burying them. I was told that Takumi-san buried the bodies, but if that happened in the mist during a feast of the Yomi Purge, didn't that mean he should have been present during the feast? From what I could tell last time, the mist scared the people here and drove them to a panic. Konzo Mekishima didn't react like that, while the old wolf guy had said that wolves were coming. It was likely they experienced the feast before, but I didn't know what happened to the other people or what I'd even do with that information. One thing I could say was the survivors either killed or silently approved of killing people. Jimmy could be one of them, and so could the other students. Even if I couldn't connect all of the dots, it was entirely possible. I had to keep myself together. I had many things to think about later, but for now, I had a goal to complete. And yet, the people at the main house say Nosato-san? You said that construction site is yours, right? Right, what of it? Is that prefab and usable? For what? I just thought that it'd be a better place for the troubled outsiders to stay at. After thinking for a moment, Kiyo no Sosuke, she returned inside. I'd expect him to say something like, "Why would I, a village head, sully my hands with Yasumizu's problems?" or something. Kiyonosuke, she came back shortly. "This should be it. The previous head of the family brought it here after the incident. Just as expected, the key was in the box." "Thank you very much." "Wait, I didn't say I'd give it to you. In fact, why would I, a village head, sully my hands with Yasumizu's problems?" And there it was. "You have a point. I'm sorry." "I'm joking. I didn't say I wouldn't give it either." Wow, what a pain in the ass. "Unlike Moro and Saruza, you seem to know how to behave around the heads. Yasumizu's inhabitants or not, I value such people. We village heads are responsible for maintaining order in Fujiyoshi." "Thank you very much." "Oh, so he believed in the concept of noblesse oblige. Shame he didn't have the ability for it." First, I had to check if the place was even usable. The equipment and the materials were all gone. The only thing of note here was the sink on the wall. The flooring was cold and a bit sandy, but with a bit of cleaning and a futon, it could definitely be a decent living space. There was no running water, but if we place a water bucket here, whoever was living here could easily wash themselves. Oh, I can't do that. Return to the dining hall. I now had one empty living space. Getting the dorm room, was even harder. I didn't think I could force myself at this stage. However, it was still a better option than just wandering around looking for alternatives that may not even exist. This would be a real waste of time if it didn't end up saving them. I wasn't about to stop trying, though. It was still a bit afternoon. Honestly, I was a bit hungry, but there was a strange, powerful reek coming from the dining hall. I had no idea what could have caused this. Was it a toilet? No, it was more along the lines of animal rot at that. Did someone already die? My memories had me forget the situation was still peaceful, and I dashed. Suddenly, a dense wall roped up before me. I was pushed away. Well, I spaced out for a moment, and then I realized I bumped into the local hunter, Konzo. That was the first time I had seen him hold his gun in his hand, but was more even troubled by his face. I was pretty sure I had seen the old lady, Tay, wear something similar to the first time. All that happened later made me forget all about that, but man, was it still weird. Sorry, there was a weird smell, so I was wondering if everything's okay. Huh? Oh yeah, hi, Sako-san was here to eat something strange. Alright, may I have your name? He laughed. The bundle he had in his left hand told me he had been here to get his lunch. He was as tough as I remembered. The chest made it hard to believe he was old. He was a hunk of a man. That thought made me seem like some love-struck teenage girl. In a way, that cleared things up. The smell was caused by cooking. I gathered my resolve and went inside. And going in, we'll find out what happens the next time in The Raging Loop. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank ya!